It was a long time ago.
18?
The year was 2019.
Was it 2019?
2019, January 25th is when I first called her.
January 25th.
Mhm. We spoke for an hour and a half or so.
Yeah, super
We didn't
easy.
realize how long we'd been on the phone, and it seemed like a no-brainer to both of us to meet. And I knew who she was because we had mutual friends who told me about her. And I'd been plotting to meet her for a long time.
Years.
And then that first date was a fiasco. And then all the subsequent dates were fiascos.
Fiasco date after fiasco date. I was like, but there's something here. They're just like, okay, let's just try again. Let's see if next time works. And it turns out 8 dates later, we finally figured out how to date.
And here we are.
Yeah.
What I saw of Mary was that she was such a creative person. This is something I don't have. If we were to paint a picture, I would be the one drawing the lines, and Mary would add all the color on it. And I think that's beautiful. And then over time, I've started to appreciate more about how large Mary's heart is. Not just for me, but for a lot of other people. Family, friends, people she doesn't even know. Over time, I would find out about these stories of people who are homeless that Mary's helped out in over the years and have befriended. Things that don't come naturally to me. And so over time, I found that has rounded me out as a person.
Zach is always really good at bringing me out of my expectations and reminding me of that creativity he loves in me, that like there isn't always just this one way to do things. Like we can be creative in this act of living and make something new. There were moments early in our relationship where I was just going through some personal things, and once I overcame this initial kind of fear of vulnerability, I was able to really speak openly and plainly, and Zach requested that of me. It was my first glimpse of he being the calm to my storm. Zach was the one who created this safe space to work through these things or talk through these things. Zach is always the first person I want to call because I know that he will think about it in a different way than I am, and always like not force his opinion on me, but help me work through it very patiently, very lovingly, with like that calm collectedness.
So I come from, I'm Indian, obviously. I'm from the south of India, and we have a tradition, or at least this is part of the culture, is your parents find you someone and you get married through an arranged marriage process. I am the second person in my family who's going out and finding my own spouse. So that was a really difficult time for both of us to figure out how to navigate this very thin line between tradition that I come from and emotions and where we could go together. And so we spent a lot of time agonizing about that individually and together. And for a long time, I didn't think it would even happen. And then one day my parents called and they asked me if I was sure. And I said, I'm sure. And that was it. It was like a switch went off in everyone's heads. It was that's great. Let's all get on board. This is what's happening. You better get married quickly.
All along the process, it was kind of like, oh, well, this isn't what I thought I was getting into, and these are not the bumps I was expecting. I mean, I remember last fall, I was really like, I don't know, we might get married or we might break up. We're at this point where like it really could go either way, and I'm not really sure where it's gonna go. And it was really a process of communication between the two of us. There's been a lot of beautiful growth out of the difficulties in the way that it's allowed us to love one another better, or learn to communicate, learn to be vulnerable, learn to support. And so there's already this partnership that I think has grown out of the big difficulties we face that have worked into all the smaller things too.
The biggest thing for me was now that switch has gone off, my family is fully on board, I could now just unleash all of my emotions and feel however I felt. And just coming out here and meeting her parents, it was like a whole weight had been lifted. It was like I'm free to do whatever. It was so nice.
It was really beautiful to watch that change happen and to get to discover this side of Zach that was at ease and emotional and even more invested and present. And there was a visible change in him that was really cool to see. We were getting ready for the rehearsal earlier this afternoon, and a bunch of college friends had come into town, and we were on a quick boat ride and kind of taking them around town, and my heart just welled with joy because I was like, finally all my favorite people are going to be up in this special place, and everyone gets to meet Zach and Zach gets to meet everyone. So there was this inexplainable joy and gratitude that this is possible. And I think tomorrow, as much as it is for me about Zach and I committing ourselves to each other and entering into the sacrament, I also can't help but think of all the family and friends who have supported us the past 3 years and through all these different lessons we've had to learn, trials we've endured, and it's so special to get to celebrate this moment with them because I feel like they've played such an active role. It's not just been them on the sidelines.
One thing that I wish all the people who aren't here could be here, but the reason I wanted everyone here was so that they could all meet Mary, and Mary could meet them in person. So we'll just have to have another reception, this time in India, and have everyone there.
Which also gets us very excited.
Do a second round of excitement.
I can't wait to go to India and meet everyone.
We've been able to FaceTime with a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
I got to speak to a lot of family members this morning, but it's not the same as hugging people in person. So we'll do that later.
It's just an elongated celebration.
If I were to look back on my life, I've done so many fun things. They've largely been alone, without anyone to share them with. Over the last few years, we've done fun things, and they've just been so much more fun because I did it with Mary. So I'm looking forward to doing that. Lots of fun things for the rest of our lives.
I'm so excited for the ways that we'll grow into new people together. You marry one person, but really you're marrying the possibility of so many new versions of them. I'm excited to grow and mostly to grow in new ways to love one another and serve one another, and in that capacity to love and serve those around us, or the family we build. The waitress the other night at the restaurant gave us this really sweet blessing at the end. She said,
May today be the day you love each other the least.
So I really hope our wedding day is
That day.
the day we love each other the least.